Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the main event of OffKai Expo. I am the cream of the crop, the yolk on top. This is Mighty Eggy Drago. And to my right, we got the modern day Manananggal, Yancha Agogo. And to my very, very right, we got the queen of the Tiger Driver 98. This is Tori Taiga, and we are here to talk about how VTubing is a lot like professional wrestling, and I will bring it back to Yancha.
So, you guys know you're here. How is VTubing similar to pro wrestling? And okay, when I tell you the term wrestling, what do you think of? Do you think of the actual sport of amateur wrestling, or these quote unquote fake sports? Like, have you seen a quote unquote real wrestling match? So when I think of like real wrestling or like amateur wrestling, I just remember like in high school I see these dudes in spandex just like hugging each other. It's a bunch of sweaty dudes trying to pin each other on the ground. Like yeah, it might be entertaining to some who enjoy the sport, but like all sports, not everyone can be reeled in to enjoy these sweaty dudes grappling each other. Okay, so you gotta add some pizzazz. You gotta add some flair to it to entertain and make people want to watch your product. And what makes like an anime series or a TV show, a manga or a comic book that you read, um, you know, make you feel invested? Like the lore, the story that's being told, the characters being portrayed in that. So to like for a lot of us like we when we follow the protagonist if they have to have character, you gotta have character, okay? And us humans, well, I'm not a human, I'm a manananggal. um we love a good story. Like us humans, we are enthralled by these tales of myths and legends, tales of heroism or comedy, told since the dawn of time. And in modern times, in our modern time, like we have these, like books, like anime and manga, these big blockbuster Hollywood films, Marvel movies with these quippy characters. Like you got like recently like the Batman where he goes like, I'm vengeance. And then like right after that he goes like, that sounded a lot better in my head. And like what makes us keep coming back to these stories, these series, works of fiction that we hyperfixate and create fandoms around in, or that we just casually enjoy. Like a good character to follow, the protagonist of the story, can take that product a long way. And someone that can, entertain us through something fantastical and that can take us out of this world, or, you know, someone who has the sheer relatability and of a character, and we really want to see them go through what they need to do, whether it's like acts of like vengeance or just justice or retribution for their characters. So Aggie, you want to talk about some of these fantastical
Oh,
characters?
definitely professional wrestling. We have a lot of characters. We got clowns, we got garbage men, we got hockey players, we got rock stars, and especially how many of you know the legend of the Undertaker? This man has wrestled for decades upon decades. He is an undead nightmare, an undead wizard, and you can see that in one clip that this man can shoot lightning from his fingertips and destroy a ring. Oh my god.
Look at him go. You'd be surprised tell me people were like, this man is real.
You mean to tell me he's not?
He is in our heights. In our heights.
I believe hell has opened. Wait a minute, what?
Look at him.
It can't be. Oh, it is. It is. The last time the Undertaker was here. What
This
the
is so
hell
ridiculous.
And Armageddon, and it's the Undertaker. He's on a. What the hell is going on here? The Phenom.
Look at him, like,
But what? Why? What?
people just believe this until really recently.
Kurt Angle about to celebrate a victory, and here's the Undertaker. He just brought a black chariot in here.
There he is with his 5-minute entrance, slowly walking down the ring, of course. But here he is with a surprise for Kurt Angle.
Oh, what do you think he's gonna do? Just a little stare down. That's all
You
you
know,
need to
nothing.
to threaten
Yep,
someone,
this is very
to threaten
normal.
someone.
See that man just shaking his boots? Terrified.
That gold
That's
medalist.
not oil, that's sweat. A pure fear.
This dude is
Oh,
an
he wants the
undead
title.
wizard.
An undead
Why
wizard
is
that
he-
wants
Why is he in a
big
pro wrestling
gold.
promotion?
Who knows? That's the beauty of professional wrestling.
Whoa, look
Oh
at him.
my
Ayo.
god! There he is, Kurt Angle, so scared that lightning just got shot from the top of the arena.
You mean to tell me a shrimp bite is right? Oh my god.
Oh my god, the thunder and lightning just hit all 4 corners of the ring. Oh!
Everything's broken.
Even Taz, he doesn't know what's going on.
Make no mistake about it.
Power of Wizards,
Wow.
everyone.
Undertaker indeed wants the World Heavyweight Championship.
An undead wizard. Like, you know,
Resurrected from the depths. Is
Yeah.
in a professional wrestling promotion. Wants a championship belt. Why does he
Yeah.
want a championship belt?
Professional wrestling, we got different characters, just like the Undertaker, his brother Kane, the pyromancer known as Kane, Duke the dumpster Drozy, a dumpster guy, a garbage man, Doink the clown, and we got even characters just like decade-old indie professional wrestlers just trying to make it day to day,
Mhm.
who finally got a shot to prove themselves in a big national televised stage, and that man is Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston. Yeah, let's go talk about Eddie Kingston.
Oh, nope,
Right, not you.
to the other side. Yeah, here-
The things he's saying is something really from the heart, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
yeah.
you can tell he hasn't, like, made this up at all. Like, he has gone through a lot of things that have made his character what he is
Mm.
today.
Yeah.
It makes us really, like, kind of, you can relate to him and
Yeah.
you start kind of cheering for Eddie. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And to make a visual product engaging, we need characters, just like Eddie Kingston, just like The Undertaker, being real, being an undead zombie, whatever it is, their story. And what we need to build is their lore. And for example, we could, in professional wrestling and in media,
Mm.
we follow the journeys of possibly main characters in different media, just like anime, manga, professional wrestling too. For example, in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, for example, you're following the journey of 2 brothers, and they're trying to save the world within 74 episodes. You're following them from the start of their journey, their origins of losing their arm and a leg, and his Edward Elric's younger brother just becoming a thing of armor, and then finally, spoiler alert, saving the world at the end of that series. And compare that to Hangman Adam Page. I know we got a few AEW Galaxy fans in the panel, but yes, Hangman Adam Page, he was brought in day 1 in AEW. No one really liked him, but from the start, but while following his journey, while his antics with Kenny Omega, the Dark Order, we grew to love him, and we finally saw him accomplish his goal in being the AEW champion and finally defeating his arch rival, Kenny Omega. So the journeys, the lore between, for example, FMA and Hangman, that is what is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or a relatable story of a struggle like Guts from Berserk, who's on a lone quest for revenge, only to eventually regain trust for his comrades. People who he could see as family again, who were willing to go with him on his journey to get what he wants. But maybe what he needed is the friends he made along the way? Who knows? But yeah. Wrestlers sometimes they use their real life to conceptualize the gimmick they play. Eddie Kingston's life makes him who he is in the ring. What for example, that promo that he cut against Cody Rhodes, that's definitely from the heart. Definitely coming from 20 years on the independent scene and finally making it onto TNT, nationally televised television, and telling it how it is. And like Chris Jericho's role as the lead man in the rock band Fozzy inspired him to have that gimmick of being a rock star in
Wherever he
AEW.
gone.
Yeah. But yes, all three of us now circling back to how this is all related to
Yeah, how
VTubing.
is this related
The,
to VTubing?
the, the three of us panelists here with you today are somewhat influenced by our background to create our character for our VTubing character. For example, Yancha.
Yeah.
What inspired you?
Me, Yanchi Gogo,
Yes.
Virtual Monster
Yes.
Girl, specifically a manananggal. And if you don't know what that is, go Google it. MANANANGGAL. And if you don't know, like if you can go to my about section on twitch.tv, or type it in my chat. Or if you're Filipino and you don't know what that is, shame on you. Go ask your mom. Me, the well, obviously, I am like what I said, a manananggal, a mythical Filipino creature, because I am Filipino. I am from the Philippines, and pretty much like, um, my lore, or if you even say say it that way, is built on top of the fact that I am a manananggal. Um, and then eventually, as characters, like you change and you grow. Sometimes VTubers have like redesigns, sometimes they have like a complete rebrand, but I am eventually going to be a professional, well, currently in training to be a professional wrestler, VTuber. So I have a redesign coming up. So a lot of like my lore is built on top of that. I hail from the 55th circle of hell. I know that a lot of you probably don't know that there's that many layers of hell, but those are just kind of like the unknown layers. So like it's something that a lot of you guys probably know already. VTubers have lore, and let's go on ahead to Eggy.
Yeah. So for example, the whole character for me, it was all influenced from like during lockdown we didn't have a lot to do. For me, I just passed the time by like watching old movies, playing old video games, watching old wrestling and MMA. And you know what? That also coupled with the fact of like just thinking about Blockbuster, there was the last Blockbuster documentary. So my whole thing is being an ex-fighter that became a video store clerk. And um you know just my whole thing is just working a video store and also mainly focused on playing retro games for a while. I think like my first year was just playing old video games, and then I transitioned on to just playing wrestling games and booking a fictional wrestling show every Wednesday. So
Mm.
yeah. And Tori Taiga, what's the deal with Tori Taiga?
Why does everybody have to do the voice whenever Dory,
Well,
whenever
you
Dory
are
speaks?
Tiger.
Everybody has to be like, oh, no. Out there, everyone. Tori is a foodie tiger. Her one motto in life is food is life. And she is very deeply influenced by a lot of things, mostly by other food YouTubers, as well as a lot of different anime characters and different wrestling characters as well. But mostly she's influenced by food. But she always talks in third person, which is a very interesting character aspect that not many people understand or know. But today, hopefully, you'll understand what staying in character and in general, why some VTubers choose to have characters and some VTubers don't have characters.
Yeah. You want to take this over then about characters, Tori?
Yeah, of course. So, VTubers are characters in an essence as well. Not everybody plays a character per se, but everybody has some sort of anime-inspired, influence in our characters and our designs, but everybody in the world can relate to one character that kind of represents us as a whole. Though pro wrestling itself is a sport, but because of all the influences like you see with Eddie Kingston, with The Undertaker, and all characters like that, there's a lot of more a theater side to things. And instead of a normal stage, we have the ring, and instead of saying words, a lot of time you do a lot of moves and different kind of spots. And a spot is a series and sequence of moves which kind of make a match kind of show up and look all fancy and look like everybody is getting hurt, but they're not getting hurt in a weird way. But of course, just like how VTubers are, we are virtual. We use our streaming platform as our stage, just like how pro wrestlers use this ring as their stage. So we're gonna show this little clip of. There we go.
From Teen Titans Go. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good scene.
I am the deadly dandy. If looks could kill, I'd be a wanted man.
I'm the wild man here to go buck wild on you fools. I am the yeller. I speak the loudly for no apparent reason. A slama-lama moo-moo. I am the grave mistake, and I am coming for you. For all of you.
Hi there. I am Victor Stone. I hope to have a clean match. Out here, really happy to be here.
Cyborg, what are you doing here?
Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to
So like
wow you
VTubers
with the
who
restraint
don't have
and
lore
nobility
and
of
only
real
play
wrestling.
themselves.
Let's not
Yeah, they're just having a nice time.
trash.
Trash talk.
So, of course, these are very exaggerated versions of characters you might see in a ring, but how do we try to take these people seriously? Back in the day, people actually believed that everything that happens in a wrestling ring actually is real, and that term is called Kayfabe. And you may have heard this word before. Kayfabe is described as, in professional wrestling, as presenting a stage of performances as genuine or authentic. So, something that, obviously, if you look in hindsight, is not real, but they're gonna pretend it's real, and keeping that up and making everybody believe that what you're doing is real is a huge part of pro wrestling. So, for example, Tori is a tiger, and she will say she's a tiger, and no matter how much you say she's not a tiger, she is a tiger. And nothing you can say will make Tori not a tiger. Exactly. So, professional wrestling has much more in common with theater than sports. It's a performance art. Wrestlers are actors, and the grand stage is the wrestling ring, like Tori mentioned before. And as they're actors, they play their characters that they play, or the performers, the promotions that they make from themselves, or they basically try to keep that character that they're given or they have created. For example, good old Ibushi here, in this little corner here, is wrestling a love doll.
Yeah, Yoshihiko.
Yoshihiko.
And yes, Kota Ibushi, even though that's a blow up doll in kayfabe, that blow up doll is a real thing, and that Yoshihiko can throw a devastating Canadian destroyer, as you can see in the bottom right corner. And that's the beauty of kayfabe, just thinking that anything that happens in the square circle, it's in character. It's all, I mean, in that universe, it's real. So.
Of course, from an outsider's perspective, everybody would look at you and be like, "What is going on?" But if you understand and you're watching the whole thing, you really start to believe that what you're watching is real, okay? Like, a lot of viewers genuinely believe what they see is real, which, of course, back in the day, people don't know that pro wrestling is a work. And a work is basically when something is kind of predetermined, kind of, it's planned out and you're following a script. Basically, they're deceiving your audience to create a story. Now, some people, maybe the younger audience, may still believe that most of these things happen. Nowadays, most of the adult wrestling fans do know that, especially after the curtain call incident. Does anyone want to quickly chat about the curtain call incident?
So the curtain call was definitely the first time kayfabe was shattered. So the curtain call involved in the main event in Madison Square Garden. It was a house show. It was not televised, but it was
Someone caught it on camera.
on camera. It was Shawn Michaels and Diesel, Kevin Nash. They faced off. Good guy, bad guy. I think Shawn Michaels won, and then at the end, Triple H, Razor Ramon, and Diesel and Shawn Michaels got all in the ring, and they raised each other's hands despite being good guys and bad guys.
And they
So
supposedly like hated each other's guts.
Yeah.
They hated each other. So
Yeah,
of
in the
people
ring,
in the audience,
definitely.
they were like, "What's happening here?" Like, well, they wanted to kill each. They legitimately wanted to kill each other. But why are they acting like they're best friends?
Definitely. That's when definitely kayfabe started to shatter. Like when people realized that kind of the stuff that happens in the ring, you know, sometimes it's real. So yeah.
Sometimes it's fake, sometimes it's real. You like, that's the whole like joy of pro wrestling in a way. Of course, like this happened years and years ago. So fast forward to 2020, majority of pro wrestlers are quite different to how they used to be. Some still do stay in character, but most people don't stay in kayfabe outside performances for things like fan meets. They kind of go out of character so they can like obviously talk to their fans without being incredibly hated. So things like a lot of wrestlers stream, for example. Things like up down do a lot of streaming.
Oh yeah, up down down.
Mhm.
AEW
You got
games they
Uno
do
as
stream.
well.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's a lot of wrestlers that just stream outside their time, and obviously they're not in kayfabe, but we have a couple of wrestlers that are still kind of continuously in kayfabe, even outside of performance rings. So we have MJF as our example. MJF, he is a wrestler in AEW.
He's a
He
heel,
has
a bona fide
not
heel.
yet.
A bad
He
guy,
is
yeah.
a heel.
A bad
Heel
guy.
is a bad gal. They're bad, like, you know, in wrestling there's heels and faces. There's bad and good gals. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, he is the definition of a heel. He stays in character when he is a heel. He stays in character when he goes on interviews.
Yep.
There's been
When
footage
he's
of
out
him
with
insulting fans.
Yeah, like okay. So
There's-
there's like a little kid, right? Went up to him and wanted an autograph, and then he flipped him off. I love
Yeah.
it. But you know, he
Just-
still got an autograph, but he still got flipped off.
Mhm.
And then there's like this one dude in a wheelchair, right? And then I forgot exactly how the story went with this one, but the dude in the wheelchair.
Troy's pretty sure they asked him
Yeah,
to say
yeah.
something bad to him.
Yeah. So no, the friend of the person in the wheelchair asked MJF if they could say something terrible to the guy in the wheelchair. So you know it's consensual and they know what they're getting into. But for people who are not in on the work, probably thinks that you know what's happening is real. So
It does happen, of course, in a couple wrestling shows, like maybe 2 years ago. People hated MJF to a point there was someone in the crowd that threw beer at him during one of his like leaves from the stage because they genuinely hated the man and did not realize that MJF was a character, and of course they get kicked out of the show. But this person, whoever threw this beer in his face, really, really did not like him to a point that they would like low key just completely just disregard their beer at this man. But it means he's doing his job well. His job is to be hated, and that just comes to a point where people start to like him because they know you're meant to hate him, and he's doing such an amazing job at it.
Like,
So if you wanna heal to watch MJF.
Yeah, the dude like in a wheelchair was like, so MJF's his little motto is like, I'm better than you, and you know it. So the dude in the wheelchair like went up to him and was like, no, I'm better than you. And then MJF's like, are you sure about that? And then he stood up. So I'm like, are you better than me? Can you do this? If you're better than me, can you do this? And a lot of people got offended about that, but like the dude in the wheelchair, like, you know, asked to be insulted. People would pay $200 on Cameo to be insulted by MJF. That's how you know
And
you're doing your
just
job right.
and just like if you're in the know about like what MJF is doing, that's when the suspension of disbelief comes to play. Like
Yeah.
for example, you know that Yoshihiko is a blow up doll, but you need that suspension of disbelief that blow up doll is actually doing moves to Kota Ibushi, that the Invisible Man is fighting the Invisible Stan, and even though you have to like the crowd, Google it, Invisible Man versus Invisible Stan. After this panel, watch it. The crowd is so invested in it, and you know the suspension of disbelief.
Yeah,
You know,
the only
needed there
person who can see these two invisible wrestlers wrestle is the
is a
referee,
referee,
who's wearing
but
like these special goggles to make him see
yeah,
invisible people.
and
There's loads of those around. There's the one with Kenny Omega with the child.
yeah,
Like, there's so many of these ones where you're like, you literally have to suspend your disbelief to really enjoy the content of the wrestling. And when you say things like, for example, would you really believe that Tatsu of S Pro is an actual rice ball manifested as a human being? When she says she is, yes, she is in kayfabe, and that's why with like things like VTubing, some VTubers, they just want to stream as themselves. You know, they want to stream, for example, like K-san, Pokemon, you know, those other like VTubers that kind of just want to be themselves, whilst many streaming character based off their lore or the world they built from themselves with a completely different persona compared to their, well, roommates or their meat flesh counterparts in the real world. It really all depends. Of course, some wrestlers are themselves, and some wrestlers are entirely characters, and that is why Tori thinks VTubing and VTuber characters are very similar to these wrestlers. And things like keeping kayfabe is things like keeping character in social media as well. It's like, let's say if Tori is now a Manangal, she's gonna have to say she's a Manangal even off stream, even off her collab times or
what are you
VC
talking
times.
about? I am a manananggal. I'm a bona fide manananggal. MANANAN.
Exactly.
GGAL. Go Google it. So yeah, you know, just like how you know, wrestlers and VTubers, something that they do really similar to each other is that like in social media, especially, they still act in character. So on Twitter.com, we still act as ourselves, you know, as our persona, our character as VTubers, and we still keep our same personality. We still keep our same, you know, our look,
Like
the
our
way that we act, our
mannerisms.
mannerisms.
yeah, definitely. It's just like you know that Hosho Marine is a horny pirate, or like Natsuro Matsuri loves Rule 34, so they keep those personality traits on Twitter because like not Matsuri is liking if you check her likes, she's definitely liking stuff that is really risque, and Marine is very very horny on
Yeah.
Twitter as well.
And
So
you know,
yeah,
sometimes it's also like yeah, the personalities may seem like it's made up, but sometimes it's kind of like some aspects of ourselves that like we just turn up a notch, like we turn it up all the way to 11. Like
Oh, definitely.
yeah.
Chris Jericho had like a quote about
Mm,
professional wrestling gimmicks where it is basically to think of a gimmick, it is basically yourself and
mhm,
just turning it up to 11. That's
yeah.
why he's an exaggerated version of the rock star character that he is in Fozzy, and then he
Mhm,
turned that up to 11, and that's who he is
yeah.
as a sports entertainer in AEW. So yes, yep.
Yeah, that's like kind of like my motto as well. For VTubing, it's like, okay, I'm kind of like obnoxious and cocky and very annoying in real life, but I'm gonna be even more so when I'm a VTuber. You're gonna hate me, and I
Uh-huh.
don't give a crap. Heck,
Yeah,
heckin'.
keep it PG.
Keep it
But
PG.
yes,
Yeah, we're
um,
sports entertainers now.
people might say that like wrestling's fake, but for those people that don't understand all the physicality that happens in the ring, the bumps that they take,
Mm-hmm.
if you think of like the very most dangerous wrestling spot that you can ever imagine. Edge getting speared off, hanging on a title belt. Oh no, Jeff Hardy being like hanging on a title belt and getting speared by Edge. Um, Edge spearing Mick Foley through a flaming table. All of that, all the blood that is spilled, the emotion that they feel, and what the crowd feels. Those are all real, and
Uh-huh.
everything that they do is performed through years of training to perfect their craft and showcase to the audience all the hard work that these professional wrestlers do. It is all real, and we have
And
a
fake
clip.
violence in the wrestling ring led to this real-life brutality.
I think this is fake. You think it's fake? What's that? Is that fake? Huh? What the hell's wrong with you? That's open hand slap, huh? You think it's fake? You come. Huh? What do you mean? Fake.
It's true. A lot of people say, "Oh, wrestling's fake," but have you ever taken a metal chair to your back? It still hurts.
Or a
You
light
just
tube, or a
you might
cheese
know
grater,
that you might know that's
pizza
coming
cutter.
towards you, but it still hurts.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know
So
what? Let's break the immersion here real quick, okay? Just for a moment. So let me just say, hypothetically speaking, if I were actually in real life a 3D PD meatbag flesh tuber in the guise of a virtual avatar, then our characters would then be fake. Am I right? So because who's a genetically modified cat girl invented by Elon Musk IRL who starts streaming video games to you guys? Like who's actually a hobo witch out there trying to make it through with streaming, and getting picked up by a major VTuber agency? Like some people would claim that what we do, that our whole persona, our whole personality is fake. Fictional characters. And you know what? Like, that doesn't mean that everything that we do as VTubers are fake. Okay? Like, the emotions that we feel when accomplishing something great live on twitch.tv, um, or the pro gamer moments and the training that we put in, that we put ourselves through to get that sweet, sweet number one victory royale, for our live audiences to perceive on youtube.com. Those are all real. Like the grind, the grind that we do.
Screams of horror from
Mhm.
horror games, they're not fake.
Actually, no, I never scream in horror games. Like when I scream in horror games, that's just because I want to entertain my audience. Okay, I never get scared. Who gets scared in playing? Okay, we're talking about fake here. Video games. Video games are fake. Okay, the emotions that I feel when I play video games, horror games, that's fake. I'm playing up a character to pretend that I'm scared. Got it?
definitely. So like for example, to circle it back to VTubing, like the stream chat and the wrestling audience, they're definitely similar to how they influence the show, the wrestling show, or like even the streamer. Chat can engage with the streamer, therefore have an effect on the stream, be it cheering on someone during an Elden Ring speed run, during a solo Apex queue, and you're the last one standing with two teams left. Um, For example, see Aqua's there, and she gets hyped when people are cheering her on. A wrestling crowd has the same effect when they like something that's happening in the ring. They'll cheer when something's up. They'll boo. It's up to the performers in the ring to entice those audience reactions. Um, and those positive reactions from the audience can actually help a wrestler power through some of the physical, painful moments they have during the matchup because they want to see it through for the crowd they are playing for. For example, the double turn in Bret Hart versus Steve Austin. Bret Hart was a good guy originally, and Steve Austin a bad guy, but like Bret was doing some bad things, and the crowd immediately turned on him and making him a bad guy and Steve Austin a good guy. A recent example being Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti. People really started to hate them because they do stuff with each other. Rock
While
Austin.
wearing the
I mean,
belt.
yeah, learned about Rock Hogan. Rock was supposed to be the good guy, Hogan the bad guy, but the crowd switched on them and cheered Hogan, even though he was the bad guy, part of the NWO, and booed Rock, and that influenced the matchup, indeed. So yeah.
It does happen in like a YouTube, like a VTuber stream as well. If your chat is like, "Yo, let's go, Yancha," and Tori's like, "Okay, Yancha's gonna win," but now Tori has to win, so the chat gets disappointed. So Tori would be the heel of the chat at that moment because everybody's cheering for Yancha. But if Tori wins our match, then chat will be like, "Boo, Tori," and that's like a whole entertainment part of things. So it does, chat and the audience does all combine with each other.
Like, just chat, like, encourage, like, let's say I'm playing Elden Ring and I'm fighting, like, some boss that I've already died, like, 36 times, like, for playing 3 hours now. Like, chat, like, encouraging me. It gives me strength, it gives me power, and, they have as much influence to our streams, similar to how the wrestling audiences have a similar effect to the wrestlers who are performing for them.
And just like independent wrestling or independent wrestlers, us VTubers, we have like the grind set that we undergo to get where we need to be from our from sleepless nights to do our video editing, to mixing for our song covers, and just pushing out content to get our brand out and to be noticed. That's all real. Similar to how indie wrestlers try to make a name for themselves wrestling in various promotions in the independent circuits. They perform the craft to a variety of audiences, sometimes push awareness for the brand by having merchandise, vlogs, and other types of content. Then they try to differentiate themselves from other pro wrestlers in one way or another, just like how VTubers try to differentiate each other by doing different kinds of content. And yeah.
As you in like the audience listening to us at the moment, in a way, you're similar to like a wrestling audience. You're watching us grow from 0 to 100, just like how some people like watching indie wrestlers grow from 0 to becoming in the big leagues. In a way.
And like not every VTuber's goal is to work for a VTuber agency, but for those who want to make it a career and or have a support system that they'd like for content creation. Wait.
What?
Hey, what's happening to the stream? Guys?
Oh no!
Wait.
Oh.
Hey,
Oh my
who is this?
God.
Who is this?
You got it! Who is that? Who is that?
Oh no. Yancha. Oh my God.
Yancha's dead?
Oh my God. That's Tatsuri of Shirayuri Pro. I wrestled her in Dusseldorf, Germany. Oh my God. Why are you here?
Hello. Wow, the quality here sucks. This is what the US is like? Dang. Man, should get better internet down here, man. Hello.
But yes.
Hello. Wait, I'm still holding on to your body. Hang on.
So I guess since you're here and you're signed to a major agency, can you talk about your experience of like auditioning and getting a character?
Yes. Yeah. First of all, hi, I'm not part of this, but I just like a last minute thing. Hi, my name is Tatsuri. I'm part of Shay Production. I am the VTuber that thing. Dabs. Nice to meet you. Let's see. One night, I was indie at first. Yeah, it was a long path. This is my 5th year into streaming. First I was PNG. Then, if you know ReZero, I was a rem model from FaceRig. And then I was like, webcam. And then I was like, no, I don't like that. So I went back to PNG. And then, and around the time, I discovered VTubing. And I was like, oh, this is fun. And then miraculously, on Twitter, I was scrolling through randomly, shitty production auditions. I'm like, oh, what is this? And I clicked on it. And I was like, you know what? Let me take a chance. Because the reason why I applied for S Pro was because not only for the support and stuff, is because I wanted to make more friends in the VTubing scene. I was like literally just starting out. Like my model wasn't even made yet. I just had an idea of what I wanted to be, and I was like, it'd be cool to be part of the agency, And then I tried, and then I got in. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
How
And
can you
yeah,
just
so just like
barge in here, 69
yeah.
me, and pal drive me down in my stream, in my panel? Okay.
Don't
So yeah,
act like you didn't enjoy it.
so yeah,
Okay,
so like
you know what?
for example,
I'm not complaining actually.
Tatsu grinded for like several years until getting called up to a major agency, and just like independent wrestlers, they grind and then they finally get to a major promotion, and sometimes they get a new name, get a new concept. So other times, they stick with their original concept, like in AEW, and but like in WWE, they get renamed, get a new concept. AEW, they keep their own thing, and yeah,
And there are different wrestling promotions and just like different VTuber agencies. So of course we know your Hololive, your Shiri Pro, your Nijisanji, your V Sojo. We have our wrestling, which is New Japan Pro Wrestling. We have AEW. We have WWE. There was Ring of Honor, still is. There is other companies, smaller companies like Eve, or the some other smaller companies in wrestling, and in a way they're very similar because they all have kind of a niche they cover, and in a way we can kind of compare the two. Compare like two kind of bigger ones. We have WWE, AEW. We have ones like what would you compare WWE and AEW with, baby gal?
V Shoujo and like Hololive or something. There's also Nijisanji. Yeah, so similar to those. So for example, you have WWE, where they call up these talents from the indies. Like these talents eventually get like a new persona to them, or like a new name, a new character, a new look. So they for example, like like you have Kevin Steen, who in WWE is now Kevin Owens. So his persona kind of changed from like just like just a violent dude to a dude who just wants to provide for his family. Um, and then you have agencies, or like pro wrestling promotions like AEW, where they do call up these talents from the indies, but these indie talents still get to perform under their indie ring names, where they get to still play as themselves, as their characters, and they sometimes even get to carry over their own storylines, or their lore and their story up to that promotion. So
yeah, just like people like independent wrestlers, they go to tryouts for these major promotions. Many indie VTubers hop at the chance at auditioning for a spot in like Hololive, Nijisanji, V Shoujo. We might also have some potential people that may get called up in the audience. So shout out to you in a few years, few months, whatever. So like a telltale sign that someone gets called up, they have a graduation stream. 2 more months later, they debut in a bigger company, reincarnated with a new name and concept, just like how people, wrestlers, just like Kevin Steen, he had a whole speech in PWG, his main independent promotion, and a few months later, he went to NXT as Kevin Owens. Yeah, so
Of course, with all these promotions going on, we'll have things like cross promotions. Cross promotion is basically things that certain companies decide to kind of go with it, kind of collaborate with each other. For example, let's say when Hololive collaborates with VSojo, or when Zisanji collabs with other indie VTubers. Face Connects, like collabing with Cyber. Like, we have lots of things like that have collaborations. So in wrestling, we have similar ones. We have one that's coming out, which is AEW and New Japan Pro called Forbidden Door. And honestly, they give an opportunity to kind of expose the different kind of groups together. And it's always very interesting and very nice to see.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of like CyberLife and like Face Connect, there was like a recent what's called Face Invaders angle that happened. Do you guys know about that? Here, I'll play a little video. I think they're here at OffKai as well.
Yuri, I think we landed in the wrong galaxy. Yuri? Yuri?
Warcraft!
Oh my god, Yuri,
You didn't think I'd see you there? Welcome to the hostage situation.
So that happened, which is kind of similar to what happens sometimes when different like talents, for example, there's like Razor Ramon, who's Scott Hall and Diesel, Nash, who went on to being the outsiders in WCW. And
Yeah.
there's the undisputed era of WWE NXT fame that, you know, pretty
jump
much
ship,
like,
they went to AEW
yeah,
and became the Undisputed Elite.
undisputed
Definitely
elites.
definitely not the same thing. But yeah. So how about we talk about how to make VTuber streams and content more interesting by learning from professional wrestling.
Mm.
Yeah. So, Yancha, you want to take that, or let's go
Yeah.
off of that?
So, you know, so guys, how can we take professional wrestling, what we know about professional wrestling, and how do we make, you know, the VTubing sphere, the VTubing experience more interesting for everyone? So, you know, that can range from creating like kayfabe like work storylines between VTuber groups or individuals, using predetermined results, you know, you know, faking winning a game, so to create like some drama between each one to help further like a storyline that's happening between these VTubers. And, you know, and also like having a consistent story told, you know, in stream and outside of that as well. So,
And like, yeah, for example, Sammy and like being the elite, they all have their specific belts. Up, down. They have their belt, and they have they just play games, do challenges for that title, and that person with the title defends it like every single week. And for example, Yancha has the VTuber title that is definitely conceptualized and definitely being finished. And she definitely wants it to be defended all around. With a various amount of VTubers.
Yeah.
Will get it. She'll get it.
So I want, you know, I want to challenge people in various games, challenges, so that they can win this title, and then, you know, you can have the name replaced on the asset. You can carry it around. So you know what? So I don't know. Like, would it be more interesting if VTubers, you know, who will be creating these storylines, would have these quote unquote work storylines, to get, you know, the audience invested in them? You know, sort of like reality TV. In a way, like professional wrestling is just like reality TV. You know, there's a drama, there's characters that you follow that you get invested in. And I don't know, like, would it be safer if we didn't play with the emotions, having these emotional investments that the audience put into us, by letting them all in that it's all fake? Or would it be more
Very
interesting?
interesting
You know, like
concept.
it's interesting if we sort of create this like fake drama, but some people aren't in on it and probably thinks it's real. But for a lot of people, like it's entertaining. So there's definitely like a fine line to
Like,
be crossed here, right?
but like drama as in like Tori quote tweeting Yancha being like, "You're dummy thick, nothing too serious, you know."
You know
Just,
what, Tori?
just like
I am. I know what I am. I'm dummy thick. And you know what? I am what I eat because I only eat dummy thick foodies.
exactly. So stuff like that, like
Yeah.
that. Wouldn't you, as an audience, find that
That's
very
kind of like a wrestling
interesting?
promo, right?
Yeah. So a promo.
Mhm.
Do you want to explain what a promo is to Miguel? Because some of you don't know what a promo is.
So a promo is a type of dialogue to further advance like a feud. For example, Dean Ambrose right here in the bottom right corner, he cut a promo on Mick Foley. They were about to have a match before Dean Ambrose made fun of his family and tried to he wanted that feud. He wanted that win over Mick Foley just to be the top hardcore guy, and just saying stuff like that, trash talking, further advances the feud. And I know that Yancha has a few words for a specific
Oh
someone.
yeah, you know what? Yeah, I do actually. I do. Listen, listen. Pipkin Pippa, you little power cord looking dingleberry. You specifically scheduled your meet and greet during my super cool awesome panel about how pro wrestling is a lot like VTubing, taking away some of that clout that I could have possibly gotten. And you know how us VTubers live, love, laugh for that clout. Okay, you know what? You know what? The silver lining here is that you cannot physically be in my panel to stink up this entire room with your BO-ridden pip ass. Okay? On Twitter, you said 1v1. You know what? I'll give you a chance to prove yourself. After you take a shower, that is. And, because that's the only time I'd even get near you. Fight me. Fight me in a gauntlet of games. Best of 3 each, something like speedrunners, Nidhogg, Tetrio, whatever games if you're choosing. I don't care. I'll ratio you on each one. Worse than a male VTuber making a bad take on twitter.com and getting beat in the QRTs.
Yancha, I have a few words for you because when I was a pre-debut VTuber, I was looking for people that had the same interests as me, wrestling, MMA, whatever it is, and I saw you advertising your Dynamite wrestling watch parties on Discord, and I idolize you. I'm friends with you, but you have that VTuber title around your waist, around your shoulder. And you know what? I'm a small fry in a big pond, and you're at the top of the mountain. I'm gonna climb that mountain, and I want that title. And the only thing standing between that title and me is you. So
Oh
I
no,
I
Tori's
want to beat
literally
you,
like
Yancha.
physically in between us.
You know what? Whatever. I want to beat you, Yancha. I want to beat you. It's the only thing I can imagine because I want that VTuber title. I want to be the best wrestling related VTuber that there is. And the only way to do that is to throw you off that mountain. See, something like that. Just like
Yeah.
working a promo on
So
Twitter, be
imagine,
it like trash talking
yeah,
like that. That
trash
could work
talking to
for
lead up to a collab, right? So now I'm
yeah.
gonna wait for Pippa to respond to that the trash talk, the promo I just gave, so that we can eventually make a collab.
Jerry feels like that's like a 50%, chance of working because you might not know if they understand you're in kayfabe or if you're just mean.
I mean, like you need to be friends to, to just have
do that first.
yeah.
But it's definitely, it makes people kind of look and go, what's going on? And honestly, it makes the storyline and the interactions a lot more fun.
Okay, we have 1 minute left.
Okay, so it's time. If you love our panel, if you want to know or like want to talk more about wrestling, Yancha's here. Show your stuff.
I actually have my new wrestling model being, I'm rigging it at the moment. I'm working at Live 2D. And my 2-year VTubing anniversary is actually coming up May 30. So come on by at Yanchagogo on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, etc. It's so easy to find me, Yancha, G-O-G-O. Also, my mama is here at OffKai Expo, table number 2. Check it out. You can take me home and Tiny me home at table number 2.
And finally, here I am, the cream of the crop, the yolk on top. This is Mighty Eggy Drago. You can find me at twitch.tv/EggyDrago, twitter.com/EggyDrago, and youtube.com/MightyEggGirl. If you wanted unarchived, Hall Live karaoke clips, I was the guy before I kind of stopped. But every Wednesday, an hour after Dynamite, I host Section Eggy Presents 0 Hour. It is a fictional wrestling show that involves Hall Live people, Nijisanji people, real wrestlers like Kairi Hojo and Hatsune Miku, and our card for this Wednesday at 8 p.m. PDT, we have Hope's Chaos, Iris and Bay taking on Matsuri and Fubuki. Tokinasaur defends the ROH title, Ring of Honor Live title against Gargura. Oscar Langley Soria takes on Oro Crony, and Kairi Hojo takes on the Red Heart Ministries, led by Hachima. Hatsune Miku. Wow, please watch. It's
Give
awesome.
Excalibur run for its money.
Me. Yeah, hi. Yeah. Oh, I was very last minute addition, but I thank everyone for letting me join so last minute. Yeah. I actually am streaming every day for this entire year. Tatsu 365 is what it's called. So if you want to pop by any time of the year, hopefully I can see you then. I also do lots of guitar and stuff. Oh, and I love Majima. Majima is amazing. We love Majima here. Oh, and I'm also a member of Shitty Yuri Production. You may have heard of us. Phoebe and Yaru and Yoro were active yesterday, and then along with Lobby, we did a panel on Friday. Right? Yeah. I hope everyone really enjoyed. I hope you can check out more of us. Yes. Yeah.
And finally, we got
Tori, she plays a lot of games, but she does a lot of cooking streams as well. She does a lot of stuff. She does both streams on both YouTube and Twitch. She has a song cover coming up soon, which is a song by Chris Jericho. It's coming out sometime this week, so she hopes you all, well, come and watch it. But thank you everyone for coming and watching our panel. Hopefully you learned that wrestling is actually quite similar to VTubing. So hopefully you learned a lot, and maybe one day we'll see you catching us watching some wrestling shows with us as well.
Cool,
and of course, thank you, OffKai, for letting us have this little panel. It's been an honor. So thank you, everybody for coming. Oh,
thank you all.
Before Tori wants to take a photo with the group, does everybody know where the camera is? Can you all look at the camera in your
Yeah.
Look at the camera.
Give us a 5-second pose.
Pose herself in front of the camera. Do you know where it is? Like, it's kind of on the table somewhere.
Yeah,
you all want to
somewhere.
have a look at it and just do like a little pose for us.
Do a little pose. Do a little finger
peace
heart.
sign.
Peace sign. The DX suck it. Something like that.
Oh, can we get a 2 sweet? Can we do it? Can we get a little 2? Do you guys know what a 2 sweet is?
No idea. But Tori is gonna superimpose us. Thank you everyone for coming by. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Tori, hope you have a rest of a good day. Thank you.
Stay well, stay masked. Don't get sick, guys. It sucks. So.
Yeah, all of us currently on the panel are sick, so please keep hydrated.
Yeah.
I love the onesie. The onesie's so cool.
Yeah, enjoy. Come visit my mama. And, in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.
And good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.